This is a second video in continuation of the video which I uploaded 2 days back. In this video, I would like to explain you the next part of this chapter. This is chapter 2, Physical Features of India. In this part, we discuss the physiographic division of India. The major physiographical divisions of India are the Himalaya mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, the islands. In this part, we shall focus on two major parts. First one, the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains. First of all, we see the Himalayan mountains. The Himalayan mountains, this is a young mountain. It is a structurally folded mountain stretched over northern border of India. These mountain range run in the west-east direction from Indus to the Brahmaputra River. The Himalaya represents the loftiest and one of the most rugged, rough and sharp mountain barriers of the world. They form the arc. This is arc shape on the board. This is an arc shaped mountain valley from the northern part to the eastern part of India. They actually form the arc shape. That's why it's called arc mountain, which covers a distance of about 2400 kilometer. Their width varies actually 400 kilometer in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. The altitudinal variation are great in the eastern half than those in the western half. The Himalaya actually consists of three parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. The number of valleys lies between these ranges. The northernmost range is known as the Greater or the Inner Himalayas or called Himadri. The second is Himachal, Lesser Himalaya, and the innermost range is called Shivalik range. Himadri is the most continuous range. Actually, it consists of loftiest peaks with a range from 6,000 meters. It contains all the prominent Himalaya peaks. Many folds of the Himalaya are asymmetrical in nature. Some are very broad and some are not very broad. The core of this part of the Himalaya is composed of granite. Some are granites and some are the fold mountains. It is a perennial snow bound. There are always snow in this mountain range, and large number of the glaciers descends from this range. Large number of the rivers and other water bodies we can see in this range. Some highest peaks of the Himalayas are Mount Everest. We know it is the highest mountain in the world. Its height is 8,848 meters. Second is Kanchenjunga, and other names are on the screen. We can understand the highest range in the world is in Himalayas range. Lying to the south of the Himadri forms the most rugged mountain system and is known as Himachal or the Lesser Himalaya. This Himachal range is lying between the lower part and the upper part. The Himachal Pradesh is the main center of this range. The ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. The altitude varies from 3,700 to 4,500 meters, and the average width is about 50 kilometers. While the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range. In this, the longest range is Pir Panjal, and the Dauladhar and the Mahabharat range are also important ranges here, prominent ones. This range consists of famous valleys of Kashmir, the Kangra, Kullu valleys in this Himachal Pradesh range. This region is also known or famous for hill station like Masuri, Nainital, Ranikhet, another hill station lying in this Himachal region. The outermost range of the Himalaya is called Shivalik. It is the outer part we can see in the map. The outer layer of the Himalaya is called Shivalik range. Their extent is about 10 to 50 kilometers and have the altitude varying between 900 to 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalaya ranges located further northern part of Himalaya. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. Longitudinal valley lying between the Lesser Himalaya and the Shivalik are known as dunes. Dunes are the space between the mountains Himalaya valleys. It is the range between the valleys that is called dunes. Dehradun, Kotli Dune, and Patli Dune are some of the well-known dunes in this range. When we move from these places, we see the valleys between the Himalaya ranges, between the mountains. This valley, this path is known as dunes, and we have known the different dunes. Like most important places, Dehradun, which is lying in this range. And this is in the Shivalik range. We see this Dehradun. Beside this longitudinal divisions, which is because of dunes, other type of division we can also see in this Himalaya range from west to east. These divisions have been demarcated by river valleys. Rivers are divided this ranges, Himalaya ranges. For example, the part of the Himalayas lying between the Indus and Satluj have been traditionally known as Punjab because there are 5 rivers are there called Punjab, Himalaya, but it is also known regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east respectively. The part of the Himalaya lying between Satluj and Kali rivers is known as Kumayu Himalayas. The Kali and the Tista rivers demarked the Nepal Himalayas, and the part lying between the Tista and Dihang rivers is known as a Assam Himalaya. We know these different places by different names because of their presence of different places. These are regional names also in these broad categories. Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. It is the eastern part of the Himalayas range. Beyond the Dihang Gorge, the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundaries of India. Up to the eastern boundaries of the India it goes. And then that's why they are also known as Purvanchal or eastern hills and mountains because of its eastern part. In Hindi it is called Purvanchal. These hills running through the northeast states, the sister states of India, and are mostly composed of strong sandstones which are sedimentary in nature, which we saw in our previous video, sedimentary rocks. Covered with dense forest, they mostly run as a parallel ranges and valleys. The Purvanchal comprise the Patkai Hills, the Naga Hills, and Manipur Hills, and the last most is the Mizo Hills. These are the hills, important hills in the Purvanchal: Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills, and Mizo Hills. In this way, we see the different ranges of the Himalaya from the northern part to the eastern part of India. It goes in arc shape from the topmost part to the lower part, northern eastern part of India. Purvanchal part is the eastern part of the India, and the Hindu Kush or the Pamir knot is in the north part of India. So we see in this small lecture that the Himalaya ranges is broadly divided into three parts. We have already covered these three parts. Next part we see the northern plain of India, which is the lower part of these Himalaya ranges. Northern plain, it is the lower part of Himalaya range, as I have already told you. Northern plain is famous for its agricultural land. In text, so in book text, what is written here: the northern plain has been formed by the interplay of the three major river system, namely the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra, along with their tributaries. The tributaries and many other small rivers, which originates from these three main rivers. This and they form the plain, and this plain is having the alluvial soil, which is very fertile for agriculture purposes. The deposition of the alluvial is in this area dominated the agricultural land. The deposition of the alluvium in a vast basin lying at the foothills of the Himalaya over millions of years formed this fertile land for agriculture purpose. It spreads over the 7 lakh square kilometer, the plain being about 200 2400 kilometer long and 240 to 320 kilometer broad. Big area for the agriculture purpose in this northern part of the Himalaya. It is densely populated and physiographical division. Densely populated because of the agricultural land. People used to stay here from ancient time. With a rich soil cover combined with adequate water supply and fertile climate, it is agriculturally a very popular part of India. Because of the agriculture availability, high productivity of the land, and fertile land, people used to stay here from many centuries. And this reason the population is also very high in this northern part of India, particularly UP, Bihar, and the upper part of the UP comes under this northern plain. Even the Punjab, the Punjab part of the Pakistan also covers in this northern plain. Whole part is very fertile and having the plain land, good for people to stay and easy communication. Because of the plain land, people used to stay this place from long time. The rivers coming from the northern mountains are involved in the depositional work. In the lower course, due to the gentle slope, the velocity of the river decreases, which results in the formation of the riverine land. Because the water comes from the Himalayas, from the northern part of the India, it moves with the high speed on near the Himalaya range, and its speeds goes down when it enters in the plain land, and because of that the river breaks into the tributaries and then distributaries, and because of these tributaries and distributaries, the landlocked areas, which is also known as a riverine land, is fertile land for the agriculture purpose. It develops in this plain land. The rivers in this lower course is split into numerous channels due to the deposition of slate. These channels are known as distributaries. When the waters move from the downward plain land, it distributes from the river, and that's why it is called distributary. The main river divides into tributary, and then tributary divides into distributary. In this way, water moves from the main river to the subsidiary river and then into the local rivers called distributaries. The northern plain is broadly divided into three sections. When we see the northern plain, we divide into three parts. The west part of the northern plain is referred to as a Punjab plain, formed by the Indus and its tributary. The large part of this plain lies now in Pakistan. The Indus and its tributary, the Jhelum, the Chenab, the Ravi, the Beas, and the Satluj originate in the Himalaya. These rivers are from the Himalayas. It is a main rivers in the northern part of the India, comes out from the Himalayas range. This section of the plain is dominated by the Doab. Actually, this section has the two rivers. Main Doab means two rivers, and this dominated this area because of the water availability. This land is very fertile and highly populated due to food availability and good land. Here, two words are important: Doab and Punjab. Doab means here two, and Ab means water, where the other word Punjab means five. Punj means five, and Ab means water. So these two waters itself explains the meaning of this land. It is dominated land with water, and water is there and land is there, so it is good for agriculture purposes. The next part is the Ganga plain. Ganga plain extends between Ghagar and Tista river. It is spread over the states of North India, Haryana, Delhi, UP, Bihar, partly Jharkhand, and West Bengal to its east. Particularly in Assam lies the Brahmaputra plain. In this way, the major states of India it covers. The northern plain are generally described as flat land with no variation in its reef. There is no up and downs. All land is almost equal. It is not true, but it is not true. These vast plain have deserve relief features. Some relief features we can see, up and downs features with sharp cutting features we can see in this plain area. According to the variation in relief features, the northern plain can be divided into four regions. We can divide on the basis of the relief into this area into four regions. The rivers, after descending from the mountains, deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 8 to 16 in width, lying parallel to the slope of the Shivalik. The lower part of the Himalaya Shivalik range, it collects the pebbles, stones in this Shivalik range. It is known as Bhabur. This is known as Bhabur. The Bhabur is a stones Bhabur. All the stream disappear in this Bhabur belt, and then the river enters into this place and it breaks out into many tributaries and distributaries, and it's lost its existence. South of this belt, the streams and river re-emerge and create a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Tarai. Tarai is a land which is full of water. Swampy area, moisture area, this is called Tarai. This was a thickly forest region full of wildlife. Because of this optimum condition, marshy region, wet and swampy, it is full of wildlife. Wildlife needs all these features, and these features are having here in sumptuous amounts. So we see the wildlife like wildlife sanctuaries in these regions. The forests have been cleared to create the agricultural land and to settle migrants from Pakistan after partition. Like Dudhua National Park is one of the Corbett National Park are the important national park or wildlife sanctuaries we see in this region. The largest part of the northern plain is formed of older alluvium. They lie above the floodplains of the rivers and present a terrace-like feature. This part is known as Bhangar. The northern plain is formed of older alluvium and it is formed the terrace-like feature, and that feature is known as a bhangar, and this feature is important part of the northern plain. The soil in this region contains calcareous deposits, locally known as kankar. Calcareous means full of calcium. Calcium deposit, and that's why it is called calcareous kankar. The newer, younger deposits of the floodplains are called khadar. They are renewed almost every year and so are fertile, thus ideal for intensive agriculture. This land is good for agriculture because of this natural changes happening in this plain areas. So we understand in the northern plain that it is dominated by rivers and their tributaries, their distributaries, their minerals which they carries from the Himalayas range to the lower plains where it is good for agriculture, and because there is agricultural land, so it is highly populated, full of fertility and full of productivity. These different rivers like Ganga, like Indus and like Brahmaputra, major rivers of this plain areas, dominated this area with water and its supply. Water supply, and water supply is one of the important feature of agriculture, and agriculture increases the human population, so all the things are interconnected and good for human society. But there is one loss is there, because of the increase in the human population, the natural vegetation is depleting. There is lot of deforestation in this region. As population increases, they need more space, and because they need more space, they destroy jungles, and their direct relation with jungle with animals, wildlife, wild sanctuaries and natural parks, they are also destroying day by day. That is also second part is the increase in population increases the pollution level in this plain areas, plain regions. That's why one place it is a very fertile land, northern plain, but on second hand it is very polluted and very populated region. In the third and the last part of this chapter, we shall see the peninsular in desert, coastal and islands. In the same video, we shall solve the exercises of this chapter 2. Thank you.